We're here at the South Carolina Book Festival with former South Carolina State Senator Nick Zeigler, author of When Conscience and Power Meet. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Your given name is Eugene Noel Zeigler Jr. How did you come to be called Nick?
My step-grandfather thought that I was a very bad little boy. He said I was young Nick with old Nick in him, old Nick being the devil. So I was really named for that was my correct name for the devil.
Okay. What has been your biggest triumph?
I guess the one that I've taken most satisfaction in was when I was in the state Senate. I conducted a solo effort to create the South Carolina Arts Commission, which has really worked very well, and I take great satisfaction in that.
And what's been your biggest challenge?
I guess the biggest challenge was reapportionment. And I was back in the days when we were trying to reapportion the state Senate, and that was very controversial and very problematic. I also found that rewriting the election laws, we went from the worst election system in the country to one of the best. So we've had no problems like Florida or any other place.
Who or what was your most formidable opponent when running for public office?
I guess Strom Thurmond, which I ran against Strom Thurmond in 1972. I got the nomination from the Democratic Party, but I was defeated by Strom Thurmond in the general election.
And why was he your most formidable opponent, would you say?
Well, it's an interesting story. I got a telephone call before I announced from the White House, and I thought it was a practical joke first, but it was Harry Dent who was calling me. I knew Harry, and I recognized his voice when he came on the phone. He told me that if I was thinking of running against Strom Thurmond, that I would be facing an insurmountable obstacle, that President Nixon had saved back all of the federal grants for South Carolina so that Strom Thurmond could announce them during his campaign for re-election, which amounted to millions of dollars. And practically everywhere he went, he would announce another grant of federal money. I had no idea that there was an insatiable thirst for federal money. And he gave so many grants for sewers that I thought he was running for the sanitation department, but it was very effective because all the mayors in the state endorsed him and wanted money, and it was just almost like a tidal wave of grants. But it was done deliberately, and we didn't get any more money than the state was entitled to. But everybody thought he was getting all this money for South Carolina. But it was exactly what we were entitled to under the law.
What was your response to that phone call?
What's that?
What was your response to that phone call?
Somewhat angry. I felt that this kind of power should be resisted, and that's why the title of the book, When Conscience and Power Meet.
And of all of your positions and experiences, from naval officer to attorney or South Carolina state senator to the cultivator of fine arts, which has taught you the most? Of all of your positions and experiences, which has taught you the most?
I guess the most enlightening experience, I served on the Board of Corrections for nearly 15 years, and it was a time when the prisons were pouring in. We imprisoned more people in South Carolina than any other state, and we had to build these prisons rapidly, and I just think the whole prison system is incorrectly engineered, and it was an interesting experience, but I wasn't able to change that.
What advice do you have for freshman congressmen in Washington?
Well, the title of the book is Politics Will to the End of History Be the Area Where Conscience and Power Meet, where the ethical and coercive forces in society interpenetrate to work out their tentative and uneasy compromises. That's a quotation of Reinhold Niebuhr in his book, Moral Man and Immoral Society. And I think we need to tell congressmen that compromise is a keystone to government. And particularly now, I thought about sending that quotation up to them in the present Congress, but I don't think they'd read it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Zeigler.
Thank you.
We've been speaking with former State Senator Nick Zeigler at the South Carolina Book Festival.